Welcome to Explore TV, your gateway to unraveling the greatest mysteries and untold stories of our world. Today, we dive deep into the shadowy corridors of history to uncover a legend that has fascinated humanity for over a century. The myth of Tutankhamun's curse. What is it about the boy-pharaoh's tomb that has sparked tales of supernatural vengeance? From sudden deaths to eerie coincidences, this story has captivated minds, blending fact, fiction, and fear. But is there truth to the curse that supposedly claimed lives? Or is it all just an elaborate tale crafted by imagination and sensational headlines? Stick with us as we explore the myths, the mysteries, and the truth behind one of the most famous legends in history. Let's go to ancient Egypt. The Forgotten King, the tale of Tutankhamun's hidden resting place. In the golden sands of ancient Egypt, where great pharaohs commanded the Nile and monumental tombs rose to kiss the heavens, a boy king met an untimely fate. Tutankhamun, the young ruler, passed away suddenly, leaving his court in disarray. Time, ever relentless, forced his advisors into a desperate decision. They had no grand tomb befitting his status, no towering monument carved in his name. Instead, they laid him to rest in a modest crypt, a place far humbler than a pharaoh deserved. As centuries turned, the Valley of the Kings became a bustling hub of construction, with laborers carving the eternal homes of Egypt's rulers deep into the cliffs. During the reign of Ramses VI, pharaoh of the 20th dynasty, workers toiled to craft his tomb, unknowingly sealing the fate of Tutankhamun's resting place. Their huts were erected over the young king's crypt, masking its entrance beneath layers of sand and stone. And so the world forgot. For over 3,000 years, the boy king's tomb lay hidden, untouched by robbers, its treasures safe from the prying hands of time. The modest burial chamber became a time capsule, preserving the life and legacy of a pharaoh whose reign had once seemed lost to history. It wasn't until the 20th century, in a twist of fate as extraordinary as the treasures within, that Tutankhamun's tomb was unearthed. Beneath the huts of ancient workers and the shifting sands of millennia, the young pharaoh's legacy emerged, a dazzling glimpse into a world long vanished and a story that continues to captivate humanity. The Forgotten King, hidden by accident, became an icon of ancient Egypt, reminding us that history's greatest secrets often lie in the most unexpected places. The day history awoke, the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb. The sun rose over the Valley of the Kings on November 4th, 1922, casting its golden light across the timeless desert. Beneath the surface of this storied land, secrets of ancient Egypt lay buried, waiting to be unveiled. For Howard Carter, the eminent British archaeologist, and his team, the day began as countless others had since their excavations began in 1906, filled with anticipation yet tempered by the unrelenting challenges of their quest. But this day was different. As the workers toiled, their tools scraping away the layers of history, a single step emerged from the dust, a step leading downward carved into the bedrock. Excitement surged through the camp like an electric current. Carter, ever meticulous, oversaw the careful excavation of what proved to be a staircase descending into an ancient rock-cut tomb. At its base lay a sealed door, its edges adorned with hieroglyphs that hinted at a royal resting place. Carter knew he had found something extraordinary. He immediately sent a telegram to his benefactor, Lord George Carnarvon, the man whose funding had made this discovery possible. The message was simple but electrifying. At last we have made a wonderful discovery in the valley, a magnificent tomb with seals intact. 3 weeks later, on November 23rd, Carnarvon arrived in Egypt. Together the two men prepared to enter the tomb that had been hidden for over 3,000 years. On November 26th, with trembling hands and hearts pounding with anticipation, they broke through the sealed door. Carter, peering through the opening with a flickering candle, was asked by Carnarvon if he could see anything. "Yes," Carter replied, "wonderful things." The room they stepped into was filled with treasures, gilded chariots, ornate furniture, jewelry, and statues, a collection that spoke of the wealth and splendor of ancient Egypt. But the most profound discovery awaited them. In the adjacent chamber lay the sarcophagus of Tutankhamun, the boy king who had ruled over the land of the Nile. It would take months of painstaking work to reach and unseal the sarcophagus. In 1923, the world learned of the discovery, a tomb almost untouched by time, its treasures preserving the legacy of a forgotten pharaoh. Yet, it was that November day in 1922 that marked the moment history awakened, when a staircase into the past revealed the story of a king who had waited millennia to be found. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb was more than an archaeological triumph. It was a moment of pure wonder that forever changed our understanding of ancient Egypt. The boy king's legacy, once lost to time, now reigns eternal in the annals of history. Unveiling the Truth, the Life and Death of Tutankhamun. What kind of person was Tutankhamun, the boy king whose legacy was wrapped in gold and shrouded in mystery? For centuries the world saw him through the eyes of myth, a young handsome ruler, untouchable in his regal splendor. But years of scientific investigation have painted a far more complex and human portrait of this ancient pharaoh. Decades ago, scientists performed a virtual autopsy on Tutankhamun's mummified remains using advanced tomography to capture over 2,000 detailed scans. The results were nothing short of astonishing. They reconstructed his appearance, revealing a boy far removed from the statuesque ideal often depicted in ancient art. Genetic studies added another layer to the story, uncovering anomalies that shaped his body and his life. Tutankhamun, it turned out, was physically fragile. His body bore the marks of inbreeding, a practice common in royal families seeking to preserve their bloodlines. He had a clubfoot and a congenital dislocation of his left foot, causing him to limp and rely on a cane for support. His tomb contained over 300 canes, as if to ensure he would never be without them, even in the afterlife. His physique included thick thighs and effeminate features, traits linked to genetic conditions, yet he was more than his ailments. Tutankhamun ascended to the throne at the tender age of 9 during a tumultuous period in Egyptian history. For 10 years he ruled, and though his time was short, it was pivotal. He restored the old gods after his father Akhenaten's radical religious reforms, seeking to stabilize a kingdom shaken by change. But the greatest mystery of Tutankhamun's life lies in his untimely death. For decades, scholars debated whether his death at 19 was an accident or the result of foul play. The first autopsy of his mummy in 1925 revealed no definitive signs of violence, but rumors of strangulation persisted. In the 1960s, an X-ray detected a fracture at the back of his skull, fueling theories of assassination. Could he have been murdered by someone within his own court? Suspicion fell on figures like Commander Horemheb, Chief Treasurer Maya, and even his wife, Tutankhamun. A British detective team in 2002 speculated that Prime Minister Aya, who succeeded Tutankhamun as pharaoh, may have orchestrated the attack. The mystery deepened until 2005, when advanced tomographic scans dispelled the theory of a fatal blow to the head, showing instead that the skull damage occurred after his death. However, another revelation emerged. Tutankhamun had suffered a severe leg injury, possibly from a chariot accident that may have led to blood poisoning. The final piece of the puzzle came with genetic research. DNA analysis uncovered traces of the malaria pathogen in his remains. The young pharaoh, already weakened by his physical ailments and possibly the leg injury, succumbed to malaria at the age of 19. Tutankhamun's life, as revealed through science, is a story of resilience against the odds. He ruled a powerful empire while bearing the weight of genetic frailties. His death, though tragic, opened a window into the world of ancient Egypt. Today, he remains not just a symbol of grandeur, but also a reminder of the humanity behind the myths. Tutankhamun's silent legacy, the mystery of the two tiny mummies. Beneath the golden splendor of Tutankhamun's tomb lay a hidden chapter of his story, a chapter not inscribed on ancient walls, but whispered through the fragile remains of two tiny human mummies. Unearthed during the tomb's excavation, these diminutive figures stood as silent witnesses to a tragedy lost in the sands of time. Who were they? The answer began to take shape when scientists determined that these mummies, measuring 38.5 centimeters and 30 centimeters in height, were the premature daughters of Tutankhamun. It wasn't until 2010, decades after their initial discovery, that the public saw these figures carefully preserved after their analysis at Cairo University's Faculty of Medicine. In 1979, researchers revealed that the infants shared a blood type with Tutankhamun, leading Robert Connolly, a British anthropologist, to conclude they were his children. Their fate, however, remains a haunting mystery. Did they die prematurely in the womb, or were they removed posthumously following the pharaoh's death? Either way, their inclusion in the tomb was no accident. These tiny figures, possibly twins, were likely entombed with their father to accompany him into eternity. Connolly's theory of twinship gains credence from the natural phenomenon of uneven fetal development. One twin often draws more sustenance than the other, which could explain the height disparity between the girls. Yet their story is part of a much larger enigma, that of Tutankhamun's family itself. The boy king's lineage, a puzzle of myth and mystery. Tutankhamun's father is widely believed to be Akhenaten, the heretic pharaoh who shook Egypt with his radical worship of Aten, the sun disk. But Akhenaten was no ordinary figure. His elongated face, egg-shaped skull, and spindly spider-like fingers fueled speculation, both scientific and fantastical. While medical experts attribute his unusual appearance to genetic conditions like Marfan syndrome or Klinefelter syndrome, ufologists have offered a far more extraordinary theory, that Akhenaten's peculiar traits were the result of extraterrestrial intervention. These theorists point to ancient Egyptian references to lizard-like beings they called the Masters of the Waters, said to hail from the vicinity of the star Sirius. Could Akhenaten have been part of a genetic experiment conducted by these otherworldly entities? While such claims may stretch credulity, they add another layer of intrigue to the mysteries of Tutankhamun's bloodline. The Boy King's Queen, a marriage of mystery. Tutankhamun's personal life is just as enigmatic. At the tender age of 12, he married Ankhesenamun, who was just 13, and his probable half-sister, possibly his full sibling. Their union was emblematic of Egyptian royal tradition, meant to preserve the divine bloodline, but their story was tinged with heartbreak. The two daughters discovered in Tutankhamun's tomb may have been their only offspring, a poignant reminder of the genetic frailties that plagued the pharaoh's lineage. A legacy wrapped in shadows. The mummies of the twin girls lie shrouded in the same veil of mystery that envelops their father's reign. They were more than just artifacts. They were part of a dynasty struggling to sustain itself, a poignant emblem of life and loss in the age of the pharaohs. Their presence in the tomb underscores the profound weight of Tutankhamun's legacy, not just as a king, but as a father, a husband, and a young man trapped between the grandeur of his lineage and the fragility of his humanity. Tutankhamun may have ruled over the land of the Nile, but it is the silent testimony of these two tiny mummies that speaks most powerfully of his story, a tale of love, loss, and the eternal quest for immortality. The enigma of the pharaoh's fiery afterlife. In the shadowed corridors of history, Tutankhamun's story continues to astonish. In 2013, anthropologist Robert Connolly, renowned for his work on the mummified fetuses found in the boy-pharaoh's tomb, made a discovery that added an eerie twist to the tale. A biochemical analysis of the pharaoh's tissue revealed something shocking. His body had been exposed to searing heat, reaching an unimaginable 200 degrees Celsius. This was no ordinary burial. Within the confines of the sarcophagus, evidence of baking and charring emerged. It seemed as if Tutankhamun had been cooked like a piece of meat, but why? What could cause such a phenomenon? Theories of fire and flame, theories swirled like desert winds. Could the pharaoh have been intentionally subjected to such heat? The idea seemed improbable. Scientists had never encountered anything similar in ancient burials. One unsettling hypothesis pointed to spontaneous human combustion, SHC, a mysterious and poorly understood event where the human body ignites without an external source of fire. Connolly, however, offered a more grounded explanation. He believed the extreme heat resulted from a chemical mishap during the embalming process. The reaction between Tutankhamun's body fat and the embalming agents could have triggered an intense heat, charring the remains. Enclosed within the low oxygen environment of his sarcophagus, the fire had little air to fuel a full blaze, leaving only scorched traces on the pharaoh's body. Tutankhamun's surprising heritage. Even as his fiery burial captivated scientists, another revelation deepened the intrigue: the pharaoh's genetic origins. While Tutankhamun was unequivocally Egyptian by birth, a startling DNA analysis by the Igeneer Genealogical Research Center in Zurich unearthed an unexpected connection. The study compared the boy king's genetic material with that of modern Europeans, revealing that more than half of European men shared a common haplogroup, R1b1a2, with Tutankhamun. This surprising genetic link suggested that his ancestors and those of many Europeans could be traced back to the Caucasus region, nearly 9,500 years ago. Was Tutankhamun not merely an Egyptian ruler, but a symbol of shared human lineage that spanned continents? The hidden chambers of the tomb. Even the walls of Tutankhamun's final resting place seemed reluctant to yield their secrets. For centuries, his tomb had been regarded as a complete mystery, yet British archaeologist Nicholas Reeves uncovered startling evidence to the contrary. Using ground-penetrating radar and thermal imaging, Reeves detected anomalies, hidden chambers concealed behind the crypt's walls. These secret rooms, Reeves proposed, could hold treasures and even more extraordinary secrets. One chamber might contain organic material alongside a metallic item, while the other appeared to be entirely composed of metal. Nefertiti, the queen's secret resting place. Reeves suggested a bold theory. One of these chambers, he posited, might house the mummy of Nefertiti, the queen of Akhenaten and possibly Tutankhamun's mother. Could it be that the tomb had originally been constructed for Nefertiti? After all, Tutankhamun's burial chamber was strikingly modest for a king, more suited to a queen's interment. Reeves believed that when the young pharaoh died unexpectedly, he was hastily interred in what was meant to be his mother's tomb. To make room for him, Nefertiti was moved to one of the hidden chambers, her legacy concealed behind layers of history, a future waiting to be unveiled. The Egyptian authorities have promised to explore these walled-off chambers, but bureaucratic hurdles have delayed the process. Behind those sealed walls, treasures or answers to age-old mysteries may await. As the sands of time continue to shift, Tutankhamun's story reminds us that even in death, his legacy burns brightly, illuminating the past while shrouded in intrigue, a tale that the modern world may never fully unravel. And here's the real question: was it the wrath of an ancient king, or just the ultimate power of storytelling? Don't go anywhere, because by the end of this video, you might just discover the curse's true secret. The myth of Tutankhamun's curse. Fact or fiction? In the golden glow of 1922, the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb sparked awe and wonder across the globe. But alongside the treasures of the boy pharaoh's final resting place came whispers of something far darker, a curse said to strike down anyone who dared disturb his eternal slumber. From 1922 to 1929, 13 individuals connected to the exploration of the tomb, along with 9 of their relatives, met untimely ends. The first and most famous victim was Lord Carnarvon, the expedition's benefactor. 4 months after he descended into the tomb's depths, Carnarvon died under mysterious circumstances. A mosquito bite on his cheek became infected, and soon he succumbed to what was later identified as malaria. The timing of his death was enough to ignite rumors, but it was Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, who fanned the flames. Doyle speculated that the priests of ancient Egypt had woven a supernatural trap, a curse designed to protect their king from intruders. The world, eager for tales of the arcane and mysterious, latched onto this idea, and the legend of Tutankhamun's curse was born. The skeptics' take. For the skeptics, the truth is far less mystical. They argue that the so-called curse was merely a series of unfortunate coincidences, exacerbated by the natural risks of the era. Take, for instance, the average age of the expedition's members. Many were already in their 70s when they joined the dig. It wasn't curses that took them, but the inevitable passage of time. Some even lived well into their 80s, and while malaria claimed Carnarvon's life, it was hardly unusual. Egypt's hot climate and abundance of mosquitoes made the disease a common killer in the 1920s. One of the most compelling arguments against the curse is the fate of Howard Carter, the archaeologist who led the expedition and was the first to lay eyes on the treasures of the tomb. Despite handling the mummy and spending years cataloguing its contents. Carter lived a long and productive life, dying at the age of 64, a full 16 years after the tomb's discovery. Even Lady Evelyn, Carnarvon's daughter, who entered the tomb alongside her father, lived until 1980, hardly the mark of a vengeful curse. The role of journalists and the public's imagination. If the curse wasn't real, why did the story persist? The answer lies in the press. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb captivated the world, and journalists knew the value of a sensational tale. Stories of a deadly curse sold papers and filled columns, playing into the public's fascination with the mystical and unknown. Soon, every illness or misfortune that befell anyone even remotely connected to the tomb was attributed to its supposed curse. A mosquito bite, an accidental fall, or a bout of pneumonia became evidence of supernatural vengeance, even if the truth was far more mundane. A legacy shrouded in mystery. Today, the myth of Tutankhamun's curse endures, a testament to our enduring fascination with the mysteries of ancient Egypt. While science has debunked the curse as a fabrication, the tale continues to captivate, weaving a sense of wonder around the golden boy king whose name will forever echo through history. Perhaps that is the real magic of Tutankhamun's legacy. Not a curse, but a story so compelling it transcends time, leaving us spellbound by the enigma of his life and death. If you're ready to journey into the unknown, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let's unlock the past together right here on Explore TV. See you soon. Goodbye.